Okay, so what's up guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video we will be finally laying down the Team No Superstars 2020 colour, and I'm pretty excited because this one's been a long time in the making and it's good. It's really nice. I'm super looking forward to just having a refreshed car, because that's one thing that bugs me throughout the whole season, is the car just looking pretty junk. It is quite a difficult task to keep the car looking clean throughout the season, especially with my driving, so this is probably the favourite part of the year for me, when the car is looking at its best. And after paint is not the only thing we are doing this year that is completely new and different for us, so make sure you stay tuned. As you guys saw in the last video, we left the car in primer, so the only thing left to do now is to sand it all off, make it real smooth, and then we can lay down paint. Now I want to emphasize again, this is a drift car and it is going to get destroyed more than likely within a couple of events of the year, so preparation and a quality finish is not exactly what I'm looking for. So I've done something a little bit different in this video, guys. I've filmed the B-roll section of the car all finished and back together with the new rims on and everything looking absolutely mint. But I've put it somewhere completely random throughout the video, so don't go ahead and start scrolling to the end of the video to see the finished product. You're just gonna have to sit there and watch the whole thing. So now let's get into the video. So I actually dropped this door and put a big gouge in it, so unfortunately I had to bring out a bit of Bondo, bit of bog, and quickly tidy that up, so that's nice and smooth through there. I'm happy with that. So now we can get back to sanding. Again, I'm using 400 grit sandpaper to key up the primed surface, as anything harsher will leave deep scratches that will show up through the paint. If this was a paint job I cared about, I would go over it again with 600 grit sandpaper. I make use of the orbital sander where I can. I generally only use it on the primer filled panels where the primer is a lot thicker. Also just found these two in my painting supplies box, and I'm thinking I might actually throw a bit of this gold flake in and just see how it all comes out, do a bit of a test panel, and if I like it we can go ahead and use it in the rest, and you know, that'll give that the base paint that little bit of a extra. Just want to make note that this is a drift car, guys, so the paintwork and preparation, everything surrounding this job is towards the lower end of the spectrum. I'm not interested in fixing every little bump and crack and defect in the fiberglass. I'm not interested in a perfect surface. I'm not interested in proper painting techniques. In fact, time is probably the most important thing to me on this one, so I want to get the job in and out as quickly as possible so I can move on to other things and get the car ready for the 2020 season.
It's like I woke up from a nightmare. It's like I woke up from a nightmare. It's like I woke up from a nightmare. Because I finally got away from you. And I ain't never never going back there. If it's the last thing I'll ever do. But now it's R.I.P. because it's over and you're dead to me. You just a memory that I can't break, but I can't shake the ghost that you left behind.
Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed that surprise B-roll section. I'm super happy with how it all turned out. I wasn't too keen on it, seeing it all the panels apart and off the car, but once it all came together and we put the white rims on it, I started to really fall in love with it. So I hope you guys like it, and now enjoy the rest of the video. This is where we insert a big time lapse of myself spray painting all the body panels one by one in my backyard, which nobody really wants to see. But that's not really what you guys want to see, is it? You guys want to see exactly how bad my backyard paint job turned out. So let's go check it out, and let me be the first one to say that I really am not feeling this colour, but we'll have to wait till it's all back together and then I can make my decision from there. Biggest probably issue was second to runs was that there is actually a gold flake throughout the whole car. It's probably not big enough to really show up against a yellow background, so it did kind of clump together in spots if I didn't shake the pot around, and yeah, it would turn out into big clumps like that. We've got lots of random runs, so from moving things around too quickly. And there was even here, you can see there's a bit of a wave there. That's not actually a run, that's where I accidentally flicked the hose onto the door as I was moving it, and then used some more paint to cover it up. So overall it turned out pretty good. A few usual imperfections that you get from a backyard paint job, but considering it was done with no booth and a very rushed job, I think it's turned out great. Got a bit of overspray on it, no big deal, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sander and I'm just going to, instead of trying to sit there for hours trying to get all this old sticker residue off, I'm going to sand it off real quickly, and then I'm going to give this a fresh coat of paint. And as you can see here, there was some overspray from when I painted the underside, and we're going to paint all these bolts black as well and just try and give it that bit of a stealthed out look, especially, and just try and contrast against the yellow. Alright, so now that we got the whole car painted, let's cue a time lapse of me putting the car back together in record time.
Get
as you would have saw, the hatch has now got all the sponsor stickers removed, and I'm sure you are wondering exactly what I'm up to. So before I put the hatch on, there's just one more thing I want to do. While we're waiting for that paint to dry before we can put on the clear coat, there's a few other little bits and pieces I want to tidy up around the car. You know, since we've gone to all the trouble of respraying it, we might as well finish off the little details that are really going to make this car pop. This headlight cover isn't too bad, so we'll probably leave that one. This one here's got heaps of overspray on it from a previous owner, so we'll probably knock that off and give that a quick touch up. I had these splitters, I don't even know what you'd actually call them, sitting around for a while, so we will mount those up. We've got some little side skirt ones, obviously with the side exit. That isn't really going to work, so I might mount that there, just see how that comes out. And I'm going to do the same treatment here, so we're going to give these B-pillar trims a bit of paint, and we're going to get rid of this double-sided tape and give these quarter glasses a bit of paint as well. To the last crash on the passenger side, the side skirts do not fit how they're supposed to. The only way to get them fit is to mount them loosely on the outside and trim off anything that would obstruct the door from closing. as you guys can see, the car is now all assembled back together, pretty much ready to go. However, there is still a few things I want to touch up, just sort of while I'm in the habit of respraying the whole car. There's a few things I probably could do better. So when we removed this over fender, we had a couple of the nut certs pop out, just due to a couple of contacts we had on this side, so that's to be expected. I painted this. I might redo that because something didn't work out too well with the clear coat and left it kind of stripy. Still got to finish off, obviously sanding and prepping this. Neither of the doors closed just because the side skirts are too fat, so we're going to have to cut the side skirts off. The door hinges aren't mounted very good, so I'm going to have another crack at trying to mount them up a bit better because they don't seem to like closing. Everything from the front end is pretty sweet. So I got the headlight covers back on. They came up mint with a little bit of paint. Got the air diversion panels on, so I'm not sure if I'm happy with it like that. Well, I think I might kick it in a little bit more so it sort of follows the line of the body kit. And then, as much as I love the CSTs, I just don't, this colour and the CSTs don't go. So I'm going to be putting on some white rims and hopefully that makes it pop a little bit more. And if it does, maybe we'll look at getting the CSTs powder coated, or we'll keep the CSTs for the S13. Not too sure what I'm going to do with this. Obviously the side skirt was mounted lower, so that does look a bit silly. Yeah, just a few little finishing touches and then a few things to tidy up, and we're good to go. So thanks for watching, guys. I know this was a long video, so if you have made it this far, it's hugely appreciative. So if you enjoy this type of video where I go into a bit more detail and make a longer type of video, leave some feedback below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And now that the car's all back together, as you can see, we're going to have some super exciting content coming up of me driving it and then pushing this car to its limits and doing future upgrades. And then obviously we've got a lot more content coming up with this S13, so make sure you guys stay tuned.